right, so we're live. If you see me right looking that way, I'm looking at Twitter. Twitter, you're not gonna be able to see the diagrams because they don't let us stream to what you call it. All right, my podcast voice. Put my podcast voice on. What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 254 of the Fight Library. I'm your host, Blaine Henry, and today we are talking Edson Barboza's big comeback. It's going to be great. Yeah, I'm going to be looking off to the side a lot here today because I'm live right here on my video. Podcast guys don't see this video, so we got this video right here. We got Twitter right there, and we're talking about fights on both of them. So let's start and dive on in. Let's see. We're going to talk about Janibek Alimkhanuly, and we're also going to be talking about Edson Barboza and his big win this weekend after almost getting murked. So it was a fun night of fights. I enjoyed a lot of what went on, although I didn't get to catch all of them. I kind of suck. But if anybody is watching this live, I know the podcast people won't hear it live, but those on YouTube, and I think that's on the YouTube and Twitter, will be able to ask questions live. I will answer them on the show, on the air, on the cuff. So what I say will probably be incorrect. So please ask away, drop hearts, follows, likes, all that. It helps the channel out great. So let's begin with Edson Barboza's big win. So we start the fight out, and Edson Barboza gets gadooshed like almost Bobby Green gadooshing Grant Dawson. Sodiq Yusuff comes out, and he's hitting really heavy. I was like, man, Sodiq looks good. So like before the fight, I kind of questioned if Sodiq Yusuff had the athleticism to fight Barboza, and if he didn't, I felt like he was going to have to do something to take away Barboza's athleticism. And the consistent way to do that, and we saw it with Yusuff, especially in that first round, the consistent way to do that is to take Edson Barboza and put him on his back foot. And that's what Sodiq Yusuff did early. He was kicking the back leg, which is really cool. And he just kind of forward pressure, I'm coming and I'm hitting you heavy. So when Barboza started, taking those licks, he kind of crumbled under the pressure, as Barboza generally does. That's one of the things he's really kind of iffy about, is the fact that when he gets put under pressure, a lot of the time he crumbles. Now, in his last two fights, with Yusuff and with Billy Q in his last one, those guys came forward, they didn't do it right, and they got smashed out. So Billy Q caught the knee, and Sodiq just got smashed to the body, right? So Edson Barboza, he kind of, he looked like he was done. I was like, man, I was texting a friend of mine, and I was like, bruh, he said, Edson looks like he aged overnight, and he genuinely looked like he aged over. He looked like an old man early on in that fight. So, I was like, dude, he's done. He's got to be done. And he survived. He managed to survive. So, he got to the ground. I forget exactly how they went to the ground, but, they went there. So yeah, that's that's all that matters, is that we got to the ground. I think Yusuff knocked him down and got on top, and Barboza. So we pulled up the first diagram. Sorry, Twitter, you can't see this, but in the right hand of my YouTube screen right there, I have a diagram from my Aftermath article. So, I tweeted that out if you want to hop on that. If not, just come on, hop in and ask questions. So anyways, we see in frame one, you see Sodiq Yusuff kind of posting up, and Barboza, he has his hips elevated, which is good. And Yusuff's about to post, or he was posting his head right under the chin of Edson Barboza. Old school jiu-jitsu, but cool school jiu-jitsu, might I ask. But what Barboza does, he needs to create a scramble. So what he'll do is you see this in frame one, you'll see he has his right arm, and he'll hook it around the leg in frame two of Yusuff, and Yusuff kind of collapses. He brings his hips down real low because he knows a sweep's coming. And what Barboza does in frame three is he kind of turns to his side, and he starts to threaten the armbar. Now, the armbar is not the intention here. The armbar is just to create this scramble. So what does Yusuff do? He pushes his hips in, as we see in frame four, and Barboza will shift him over and down, frame five, and we got the takedown. Or not the takedown, the scramble. And he was managed to get up from that position. But really won Edson Barboza this fight. And here's going to be another diagram I got pulled up here, was his body work, okay? And his body work, Coach Shockley just joined us on Twitter. What's up, Coach? So Edson Barboza joined, gosh, I'm talking that. Coach, if you want to ask any questions about the fight or drop your comments, let me know. Just say something. I'm watching, and I'm trying to see what's shaking. So anyways, the body work really, after Edson Barboza kind of clawed his way back, he came to a good mental space after the first round, that beating he took, and he really started to implement his game plan and work the body. So Sodiq Yusuff has never been a full 5 rounds. So what he did was, he's like, I'm going to go a full 5 rounds with this guy, and I'm going to crush his bodies. And he did just that the entire fight. So frame 1, again, Twitter, you can't see this, but frame 1, Barboza, what he does, all of his counters start on the inside. So not all of them, he'll counter otherwise too, especially with the low kick. But usually it starts with an inside slip. So he throws a jab, comes over with the top right hand, and he slips to the inside of that punch. And this gets Yusuff, it draws him out to counter. So Yusuff throws his right, which Yusuff is, with Barboza is slipped to the inside, and crack. Barboza crushes that inside rib. So that bodywork really set up the pace of the fight for Edson Barboza going forward into the later rounds. And as it went forward more and more, Barboza started to take over a lot more. So our last frame is, of course, the spinning wheel kick. Twitter, this is the last. Chris, what's up, man? Chris, Barboza, this will be the last frame. So obviously the wheel kick is Barboza's bread and butter. He does it all the time. He's had several knockdowns with it. The Terry Edom knockout, it's just one of his go-tos. Big Hasty Hirsch, what's good? So we start off, and Barboza, what he had been doing all night is this spinning back kick to the body. Now, the spinning back kick to the body really, really was just more of that body work that he was really good at. He didn't really throw many kicks like roundhouse with his right leg to the body, but the spinning back kick is one thing he did throw quite frequently. So in round 3, he gets another spinning back kick, but this time he brings it a wheel kick up top. Now, if you look at frame 2 right here, Sodiq Yusuff drops his hands. You know why? Because he thinks that spinning back kick is coming. No good, because Edson Barboza's coming up top with it, and he cracks him and drops him. So the body work really, and listeners to the podcast and anybody who's read any of my work will know that the body work's super important in a fight, especially modern MMA. In any fight, really, if you're punching somebody's body, it makes them tired, just like I'm tired right now. But yeah, you punch their body, they get tired. And with Yusuff never going 5 rounds before, we're going to make him tired. And that's what he did. And that's how he won this fight, honestly. The takedown at the end was, icing on the cake. He sealed the deal there. But yeah. Other fights, Michelle Pereira had a quick knockout debut at 185. That was pretty cool. Same thing with Terrence McKinney, a 20-second knockout. He nukes people when he wants to nuke people. Jonathan Martinez chopped down Adrian Yanez's leg. It was brutal, painful to watch, and it really hurt my feelings because I love Adrian Yanez. His hands are beautiful, but Jonathan Martinez, I love his feet. That sounded weird. Yeah, I like his leg kicks because he just smashes the legs over and over and over. It doesn't matter if he goes shin to shin. He's trying to smash your legs, and that's really what got him the win because it was a little TKO by leg knockout. Him and Edson Barboza, I saw a stat somewhere, him and Edson Barboza actually are the only 2 fighters with more than 1 finishes with leg kicks. So that was really cool to see. But like again, Jonathan Martinez just smashed the legs over and over. And like Yanez he would check some of them and it just wouldn't matter, it seemed like, because it was like he was getting hurt anyway. It was crazy, bro. It was just powerful leg kicks, and I was just like, wow, this is something to behold, because I wasn't big on Martinez, but now I am, because he's, yeah. Did I just lose myself? No, I don't think I did. Sorry. All right. I'm back. Sorry if I went away. So yeah, Janibek is this guy. He's at 160. Jacksonville 17 just joined us on Twitter. What's up, bro? So yeah, Janibek Alimkhanuly. I keep saying his name wrong. He's in this weight class 160. You know, he wouldn't fight Triple G because they're both from Kazakhstan, and Triple G is an OG. Oh, Triple G maybe. Yeah. Why did I say that? That was stupid. The followers drop. Ah, goodness. You gotta have fun. Anyways, he's in this weight class where he doesn't have much competition. You know, Jamal Charlo was seen as the champion, and he just doesn't fight anymore. It's been 2 years since he fought. So you got Janibek here, who's going and tearing up the division, and above him is Canelo. You've got Chris Eubank there. Liam Smith has a belt, so what? You know, like, these guys Janibek beats. Charlo, I think Janibek beats. Now, if Jermell Charlo comes up running away from Bud Crawford, I don't see that happening, but if it does, you know, that's a good fight for him. I interviewed him a while back. I've actually interviewed Janibek about 3 times. 2 times for my website and once for Ring Magazine. But he said he wants to go up and fight Canelo, which, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, everybody wants to fight Canelo. But really what it's about is he's at 160. If he goes undisputed, because he said he's got to get all 4 belts first. He has to be undisputed. That's his thing. And if he becomes undisputed, that's, you know, he's great. 300 amateur fights. He's 15-0 now, and he's got hands. But if he goes undisputed, I mean, what else is there for him at 160? There's really nothing. So if Janibek doesn't have anybody to fight at 160 pounds, what does he do now? He has to go up and take a stronger challenge. Those challengers would be Canelo Alvarez at 168 or David Benavidez, who's fighting Demetrius Andrade. So if Janibek goes up, you know, obviously Canelo's eventually going to fight David Benavidez. But when he goes up, you know, that'll be a fight for him. Built-in storyline, you know, I'm avenging Triple G for being wronged in his first fight. Yeah. So Janibek, though, with Gultieri, he just styled on this guy. Like, Gultieri just didn't have anything to do. He kept getting pushed back, and Janibek, you know, this outside foot. It was really cool, though. You saw him do the foot stomp where he steps on the foot, because Janibek, I think he was a southpaw. No. Janibek is the orthodox fighter, and Gultieri is the switch hitter. So he was in southpaw a lot, kind of trying to give Janibek a problem. But anyway, Janibek steps on his foot, an old school trick that is not really legal, but Janibek does it anyway, and he can't go nowhere. You know, you step on your lead foot, you can't go back. You're either going to fall, or if I catch you, you're going to be knocked down because you got one foot and you're off balance. You're trying to jerk it out. But yeah, so Janibek got the win. I'd like to see him fight for another title. Liam Smith maybe, but I think these people are about to start avoiding Janibek going forward here, which kind of sucks for him because he deserves to have a shot at the next title and then the next. Obviously, he has IBF, who's probably going to demand a mandatory, as they always do. But I don't know. He'd be a fun fight going forward. He really would. So let's go ahead and wrap things up real quick and talk this weekend's main event. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski, the sequel to Electric Boogaloo. Volkanovski is taking this fight on 13 days' notice. We were supposed to have Islam versus Oliveira 2. So wherever Islam goes, it was going to be a rematch. You know, Mateusz Gamrot was the backup fighter, which I find it quite funny that Volkanovski got tapped to play this. Like, that's really kind of messed up that they're paying. I mean, obviously Gamrot's going to get paid for this, but why didn't he just fight for the belt? I mean, Gamrot brings a good fight out of everybody, and when I say that, I mean he fights only to the level of his opponent. So, yeah, I don't know. This fight, though, with Volkanovski and Islam, I think I don't want to put too much analysis into this fight because really the biggest X factor is going to be, will Volkanovski be able to prepare on such short notice? Will he be in shape? which I think he will be. I mean, he's a professional athlete. He's one of the best fighters in the world. He should be in shape, but is he in fighting shape? There's two different types of shapes. You're either in shape or you're in fighting shape. And I don't really think the change in opponent rule affect how Makhachev fights. Although, I mean, that 5th round Islam took or received from Volkanovski kind of might change that. But Makhachev and Khabib, they don't really change their game plan. If you get what I'm saying, like they go out and they impose their will on their opponents. That's their MO. That's how they fight. And I don't think Makhachev's going to change how he fights just because he's fighting Alexander Volkanovski instead of Charles Oliveira now. I think Islam Makhachev, I mean, he might get skittish, but I don't think he'll be scared. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that, I mean, and then the other big fight on this card, obviously, is Kamaru Usman versus Paulo Costa, but there's really not much I want to, like, I'm going to write a big piece on Islam and Alex and talk about their first fight because it was such a good fight, and that's what we do in Before Math every week. But, like, Khamzat and Usman, this is a weird fight because Usman's big. Khamzat is middle for the class, so it's like, yeah. Usman has a great gas tank. He has a great chin, so he's great at wrestling, you know, high takedown defense. So it's everything that Khamzat is good at. Usman's good at the counter to that. Like, Khamzat hits hard. Usman's got a great chin. Khamzat wrestles like a monster. Nobody takes Usman down, except for Leon Edwards, apparently. Khamzat outpaces people. Usman goes the distance. So, you know, that's a real big X factor there. But, again, the notice. But this is not so much in this fight as, like, Volkanovski and Islam because Khamzat doesn't fight. He doesn't fight anybody. So, yeah, okay. You know, I'm going to watch. It's going to be fun. UFC 294. Anyways, guys, we're going to cut there for the day. I'm a bit tired. It's been a long day, but I had to come in and get the pod done. We just had to get it done. Follow me on YouTube and Twitter, Blaine Henry TFL, Fight Library on YouTube. And if you want to get all of my content to your inbox, fightlibrary.substack.com. And that's where you'll get my articles, my video. You probably won't get the live video, but you'll get the podcast version of it. So, yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. I'll catch you all next time. War Volkanovski.